Here's something you won't hear in your language class. You can study English for years, know hundreds of words, and still freeze when someone asks you a simple question. Why? Because you're translating in your head instead of thinking in English.
And that's the silent fluency killer. Translation delay. You think in one language, translate into another, then try to speak. And by the time you're ready, the moment's already gone.
In this episode, we're giving you 5 powerful, psychology-backed strategies to help you stop translating and start thinking in English naturally, instantly, like fluent speakers do.
And don't worry, we're not talking about changing your phone settings. These are fresh, real-world strategies that actually rewire how your brain handles English.
Let me tell you something most learners don't realize. Your brain can only handle so many tasks at once. If you're trying to listen, translate, think, and speak all at the same time, you're basically overloading your mental system.
Right, and that's when things break down. You forget words you know. You lose your train of thought. You hesitate, and suddenly your confidence drops.
From a psychology standpoint, this is called cognitive overload. It's not a language problem, it's a brain processing problem.
And the fix isn't learn more grammar. The fix is to think directly in English, so your brain can focus on what really matters. Expressing your thoughts, not decoding them.
Exactly. And the good news, anyone can learn to do this. You don't need to be fluent first. You just need to shift how you use English in your everyday moments.
That's what we're doing today. We're not giving you tips that sound good on paper. We're giving you 5 strategies that actually change how your brain handles English.
And by the end of this episode, you'll have tools to stop the mental translations and finally sound the way you actually think.
All right, let's start with strategy 1. It's called the name plus add one method. It's one of the easiest ways to train your brain to think in English without jumping into long sentences or complicated grammar.
And here's why it works. When you're learning a language, your brain stores words like little puzzle pieces. But it struggles to put those pieces together under pressure. This technique builds those connections in a low-stress way, so you get faster, smoother recall.
Here's how it works. First, name something around you, one word. Then add one small detail. That's it.
Window, open window. Phone, dead phone. Coffee, hot coffee. Bag, heavy bag.
Now do it again, but add a verb. I need coffee. I'm charging my phone. I see the open window. You're not just learning vocabulary, you're training your brain to form real English thoughts.
And what's cool is, this process is automatic. You're not translating anymore. You're labeling the world in English in real time. That's fluency training without a textbook.
I've had students use this during their morning routine. They'd walk around the house saying, shoes, black shoes, I'm putting on my black shoes. It sounds basic, but in 10 days their speaking speed improved. They weren't thinking in their native language, they were just talking.
And from a brain perspective, this is called language chunking, building small, useful patterns your brain stores as one unit. So when you speak, your brain pulls the whole chunk instead of building the sentence piece by piece.
So don't overthink it, just start small. One word, one detail, one action.
Try it right now. Look around. Name something. Then add one word.
Got it? Great! That's your first mental rep.
This next one's a game changer, and it's backed by neuroscience. It's called reaction talk. Instead of thinking about English, you start feeling in English and saying those feelings out loud.
Think about it. When something surprises you or annoys you or makes you laugh, you react instantly in your native language, right?
Exactly. Your reactions are emotional. And your emotional brain works faster than your thinking brain. That's why we want you to connect English to your emotional responses, not just grammar exercises.
So next time you drop your keys, don't say it in your language. Say, ugh, not again. Seriously? Come on. Real people say these things every day.
Even better, these phrases are short, fast, and full of natural rhythm. They're not translated, they're lived, and that's what makes them stick.
Here's how to practice. Pick one moment today that annoys you or surprises you or makes you smile. React in English, even if you're alone.
From a psychological perspective, this is called emotional encoding. When you connect language to a real feeling, your brain marks it as important. That makes it easier to remember and use later, automatically.
And the more you do it, the more natural it feels. Eventually, you won't even think about translating. You'll just say it.
That's the goal, right? To feel fluent, not just sound fluent.
So whether it's, ugh, that's awesome, or you've got to be kidding me, react in English today. That's fluency in action.
Strategy 3. The Camera Roll Challenge, Visual Memory Training.
This one is really simple, but super effective. Open your phone's camera roll, scroll through your photos, pick one. Now describe it in English.
It's called the Camera Roll Challenge, and it taps into visual memory, one of the most powerful ways your brain stores language.
When you look at a photo, your brain already knows the story, so you don't need to translate. You just need to talk.
And that's the magic. You're not studying, you're recalling. And because there's emotion or context tied to that photo, it makes the English stick.
That was our trip to the beach. I remember the wind was crazy that day. My sister's birthday. She loved that cake. Oh wow, this was from my old apartment. I miss that place.
This works especially well for people who struggle with confidence. There's no pressure. You're just telling yourself a story you already know, but doing it in English.
And here's the twist. If you want to level it up, record yourself. Use the voice memo app. Doesn't matter if it's short. It's about building your fluency muscle, not perfection.
From a psychological view, this is a technique called contextual encoding. When you pair language with images, emotion, or memory, it becomes easier to access later.
So, if you're looking for a zero-pressure way to practice real English, your photo gallery is basically a language gym.
Take 3 minutes today. Pick 3 photos. Say 2 sentences about each. That's real thinking in English, without stress, without scripts. All right, strategy 4 is one of my favorites. It's called the what if game. And it works because it exercises something called mental flexibility.
Basically, it trains your brain to imagine different situations and respond to them in English. No pressure, no right answer. Just you and your imagination.
Here's how it works. Ask yourself one simple, what if question in English every day. Something random, something fun. Then answer it out loud.
What if I lost my phone on a trip? What if I had to explain my job in English to a stranger? What if I opened a coffee shop in London?
When you do this, your brain starts building sentence structures, vocabulary, and most importantly, confidence. And because there's no pressure to be right, your creativity kicks in.
I tell my students fluency doesn't come from memorizing, it comes from imagining. If you can imagine in English, you can speak in English.
And from a psychologist's perspective, this also helps lower anxiety. You're building pathways in the brain where English is tied to creativity and fun, not fear.
So here's your micro challenge. Ask yourself a what if question today. Make it weird, make it real. Just answer it out loud in English. No script. just your brain doing its thing.
And over time, you'll notice something wild. You start daydreaming in English. That's when fluency starts to click.
This next one sounds a little weird, but it works like magic once you try it. It's called no noun thinking, and yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like.
We're so used to learning English in full, perfect sentences subject, verb, object. But that's not how real people always speak, especially in emotional or quick reactions.
And your brain doesn't always think in full sentences either. So why force it? This strategy helps you think and speak in short, real, instinctive bursts without overloading your brain with grammar.
Instead of the weather is cold today, just think, so cold, too much wind, hate this jacket.
Or instead of I feel exhausted because I didn't sleep well, say tired, didn't sleep, coffee, now. See what's happening? It's raw, real, and fast.
This taps into what we call emotional fluency, the part of the brain that reacts, not plans. It's what kids use when they're learning, and it's why they can speak freely long before they understand grammar rules.
And it's fun. It breaks the perfection habit. You're not building sentences, you're building thoughts.
This also helps reduce that fear of messing up, because there's nothing to mess up. You're just speaking English in the way your brain wants to think it.
Try this today. Describe a moment without using full sentences. Keep it messy, keep it real. You'll start to feel the fluency shift.
And remember, fluency doesn't mean fancy. It means free.
All right, so let's bring this all together. Today wasn't about grammar. It wasn't about rules. It was about retraining your brain to actually live in English.
You learned 5 real strategies to help you think in English. Not just speak it, not just study it, actually think in it.
Name plus add one. Build sentences naturally from simple words.
Reaction talk. Use emotional moments to create real language habits.
Camera roll challenge. Describe what you already know visually.
What if game? Build fluency through imagination.
No noun thinking. Speak in thoughts, not grammar.
Here's your action step. Choose one of these strategies. Just one. Try it every day for the next 7 days. No pressure, no perfection. Just 5 minutes of real English thinking.
And if it feels strange at first? Good. That means your brain is adapting. Keep going.
Also, we'd love to hear from you. What strategy are you trying this week? What's helping you stop translating? Send us a voice message, leave a comment, or just share it with a friend who's learning too.
And next episode, we're talking about confidence. Specifically, how to speak English when you're scared of making mistakes, because we've all been there.
It's not just about what you say, it's how you feel when you say it, and we're going to help you own it.
So hit follow and don't miss that one. Until then, keep your thoughts simple, keep them honest, and say them in English.
You're not just learning a language, you're building a mindset.